Welcome, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising astrology friends, to your February 2026 astrology forecast. I do apologize that I am late getting this out. It's already February 11th, but we are going to start this video back from the beginning because a lot of times looking at astrology in hindsight is very helpful and sometimes more fun to look at than kind of looking forward to see how it actually manifested for you. This is a big month. A lot of astrologers have talked about how it might be the most important and biggest month of your life, or definitely the year, and that's because there are two main big things going on. One really main big thing. The two main things going on are that we have a new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, so this month starts eclipse season, and the other big thing is the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. So this is such a big deal because although Saturn and Neptune meet up every 35 years, so them meeting up isn't extremely rare. It again only happens once or twice in your lifetime, but it has happened in Aries before. The last time was about the early 1700s, but before that, the software that I use goes back to 500 BC, and there hasn't been any at the 0 degree point of Aries. That's what makes this so crazy rare, is the 0 degree point. So it has gotten close at like 4 degrees or so, but astrology is just patterns, so it's kind of like echoes, or like us kind of coming back to the same type of pattern but at a different level of awareness. Hopefully that means we're growing. But with 0 degrees of Aries being the birthing point in astrology, right? Aries is the beginning of the entire zodiac wheel. So when there's a conjunction at 0 degrees, that is birthing a cycle that has not been born before. Like it's that big. And I don't know what software they're using, but other astrologers say that this hasn't happened in 5,000 or 6,000 years. I can't confirm or deny that because whatever I have access to doesn't go back that far. But so that's how big it is, though. Whatever this new beginning that we're entering into, that we're a part of, that we chose to be here for, has not happened potentially ever, if not for thousands of years. And so we are taking part in setting the stage for the next thousands of years of existence. Like, we're here literally changing the world, and I think we can all feel it. There's a lot of craziness in the world going on right now that we need to get rid of, right? And so we are here taking part, playing our part in the collective of how to basically rid this world of evil. And I think that is one of the things that this conjunction is doing. And I do have, if you're interested in learning more about this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, I do have a video that I will try to link that goes into some of the history of when not Saturn and Neptune in particular, but the Neptune cycle of Neptune entering Aries, because that's a 165-year cycle by itself. So I go back to like 100 BC to see how the cycles have progressed over the thousands of years, and it's fascinating. The other video I recommend you checking out is the collective video for this month. I don't go into it in these individual videos, but in the collective video at the beginning, I go through the Sabian symbols for the 4 planets that are staying within 1 degree. They aren't moving much this month, which oftentimes is the outer planets, but the outer planets are the ones that have the biggest lessons for us. And so this month, the 4 planets are Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron. So I go over the Sabian symbols and what lessons those planets are teaching us this month at those degree points. It's very fascinating and lays a great foundation for what we're moving through individually and as a collective. Now, before we get into it, just a little bit about me. Hi, I'm Sarah at Life with Training Wheels, where I utilize Western tropical zodiac astrology, tarot, and other spiritual health and wellness tools. I can never point right because it's backwards, like singing bowls and tuning forks and all different sorts of other tools, meditation, to help you align yourself with your highest and best version of yourself. I help you recognize where you might have any self-sabotaging behaviors, self-limiting beliefs, identify and help release any victim mentality, and help you realize that you are really the driver of your own life. And one of my favorite quotes is, wherever you go, there you are. So if things are not going your way, if things always seem negative, it might be time to look into the mirror. And I help you do that in a very gentle way. And I also help you just learn more about yourself so you can understand these things about yourself and learn to take back control over your own life and your own destiny. So if that sounds like something that you want to stick around for, a vibe you can vibe with, I encourage you to stick around. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will enjoy what you see and stick around. If you are returning, thank you so much for returning. Either way, if you could like, comment, subscribe, engage with this video in any way you can, it will help my tiny channel grow. As these videos take about 2 to 3 hours each, and this is not my full-time job, so I only have a little bit of time to do these, which is why I'm late getting them out. But yeah, any way you can help me grow, I would greatly appreciate it, because this is my dream, is to do this and help guide people toward their best selves, living their best lives. So now let's get into the astrology. Okay, so we're just going to start right back here at the beginning, because the month started out with a bang. February 1st, we had a full moon in Leo, which was over here in your 10th house, and the moon was making an opposition, like it does with all full moons, to the sun, but it was also making an opposition to all these personal planets plus Pluto over here in your 4th house. So with the stellium of personal planets in your 4th house, a lot of your energy and focus and just where your main focus is, where all your energy is, has been in the 4th house. This is where Aquarius is. 4th house is home, family, your property, your living space, as well as your emotional realm. Ancestry could be dealing with mother too. So that's where your focus has been. But the full moon, any opposition, is asking us to balance certain areas of our life. And so this full moon being over here in the 10th is doing a couple of things. As you would see in the collective video, it's asking us to make sure that we're engaged with our Leo energy that we all have, which is this more playful energy, more joyful, it's like our inner child, as well as and creativity and living from the heart and leadership and courage. So those are some of the Leo traits. So this full moon could have been asking you to bring those type of traits into your home. Perhaps your home needs some more joy right now. Perhaps your emotional safety needs some more joy right now. Things like that. But it's also asking you to make sure that while you have all this energy focused on your home, that you are not forgetting about and neglecting your career and your public facing image as well, right? You want to make sure that you're steady in your emotions and your home life, but not to the point that you are forgetting about the career. The full moons are when things start to manifest, and when we have the opportunity to look at things that we might need to let go of in order for this manifestation to keep going in the direction we want it to go in. So there could have been something kind of showing up that you've been working towards in your 10th house of career as well, which would kind of bring you back into balance here, right? And recognize that that you need to spend a little bit of time there as well. So I will link to the collective full moon video right here as well, so you can go back and watch that for more details and apply it to your own chart. But let's move on. Okay, so February 3rd, we had Uranus stationed direct in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So this can be romantic or like marriage partnerships. This can be best friendships. This can be business partnerships or open enemies. So with that, I mean like ex-marriage partnerships, ex-business partnerships, things like that. People who were once close to you that no longer are. Those are typically the types of open enemies that you might see here. It could be others too, but those would be the more likely ones. So with Uranus stationing direct, that is a big energetic shift, because Uranus is kind of a powerhouse planet, right? It is the planet of rebellion and revolution and thinking outside the box, invention, innovation. It is also like sudden insights, sudden information, sudden movement of things. It's kind of when Uranus is moving, they say to expect the unexpected, because it's like a lightning bolt just comes in and shakes things up, and we don't know what way it's going to shake things up. So this energetic change, so Uranus has been retrograde, and some of the changes that have been happening perhaps in your house of relationships or whatever have been happening internally for you. And now with this stationing retrograde, things might be starting to move externally, and you may have noticed a shift of some sort either in your relationship area, or Taurus also for the collective can represent values and finances and things like that. So there could have been a shift there. Or Uranus rules your 4th house of home and family and property and your emotional well-being, and your mother. So there could have been something going on there as well. And we are going to talk about this a little bit more, because Uranus is being very active this month, because of all these personal planets here. So the shift that you may or may not have felt on the 3rd may or may not be the only shift happening. And this is kind of important, because Uranus has been in your 7th house of relationships since 2018. So it has been moving through this house, kind of shaking things up. So if you feel like things have been a little bit unsteady in the house of relationships, this is about to, in April, I believe it is going to be moving into Gemini. So you should start to feel a little bit more stability in the house of relationship here in a few months. But with this turning retrograde and with all these planets making a square to it this month, it's kind of like you're getting a final shakeup. Like, okay, where are things gonna rest? Where are things gonna land? And then from there, it should be feeling a bit more steady. So we'll be talking more about that in just a minute, though. Just a quick note as well, Uranus also kind of represents electricity in the like collective. So there might be things going on there. I know our Earth's electrical field, with all these solar flares and X-class flares and a weakening magnetosphere and stuff like that. Like our Earth is having a lot of electrical activity with seeing the aurora borealis and stuff like that. But also internally as well, it rules our electrical system, so our nervous system and stuff like that. So you might be feeling stimulated within your own nervous system and need to ground some more or meditate some more, or just be aware of your nervous system. Your anxiety levels might be a little increased this month, so just be aware of that. Okay, so then we're going to talk a little bit about this stellium of planets in your 4th house of home and family. So this is quite rare as well. A lot of the astrology for last year and this year is very rare, and this is one of those things. So it's rare because it's not often that all personal planets create a stellium. They move through the signs at different rates. So Mercury, Venus, and the Sun go through each sign it takes them between 3 and 5 weeks to go through a sign. Whereas Mars, it takes about 2 months to go through each sign. So the fact that they have been moving together since the beginning of the year in a stellium is pretty darn unique. And then this month, conjunct Pluto is a big deal too. So there's this huge amount of energy, transformational energy in your house of home, family, property, your emotional stability and safety and ancestry and things like that. These personal planets, basically this year so far, we've been getting a chance to rebirth ourselves and rethink every aspect of our lives, which, what's going on in the world is kind of calling us to do, but the astrology is also calling for us to do it, probably partly so we can take part in this big overhaul of life as we know it that we are going through. So last month it started in the sign of Capricorn, which is like a building sign. It's a sign of structure and foundation. And so last month, all these personal planets made a conjunction with the sun. And when the sun makes a conjunction with these planets, it's like birthing a new cycle. It's imbuing these areas of our lives with new beginnings, new opportunities, things like that. And then some of these planets also made conjunctions to each other, so birthing new cycles within themselves. So like Mercury and Venus, perhaps creating new cycles of desire and passion and perhaps a rebalancing of the masculine and feminine. So then they went through that, and then at the end of the month, as they entered Aquarius, they made a conjunction with Pluto. And Pluto is the planet of transformation and going into the dark, into the weeds, and getting rid of what no longer serves you and making better use of what might serve you still, right? But you need to give it some love before it can do what it needs to do for you. So we had the opportunity to plant these seeds and then meet up with Pluto for some transformation, to be like, this budget here isn't working for me. These relationships aren't working for me. This thought process, this way of communication isn't working for me. These desires I've outgrown. I no longer have motivation to engage in life this way. Like those types of things we've been given the opportunity to see and to release. And now these planets are having even more conversations, making more alignments that we're going to talk about right now. Also to note that these planets are now in the sign of Aquarius, which is that revolutionary, innovative, let's, keep the structures from the past that work and get rid of the rest and start over or make better. Aquarius is that kind of energy. So you're doing that within your home, but we're also doing that on a larger scale collectively. So the first conversation that these planets are going to be having, and that your day-to-day life is going to continue to unfold in the new way that you are unfolding, is they're going to be making a sextile over here to Chiron and Aries. And Chiron, is the wounded healer. Aries is the I am energy. So generally speaking, this is a wound regarding, feeling like you had to stay small for the sake of others, not feeling confident to be who you truly are, things like that. And this wound that you've been working on, is in your 6th house of daily habits, health, routines, work, service to others, pets. So it could be a health related matter that you've been, maybe you have had health related matters because you've put yourself last and put other people before you, and you're working through that issue. Perhaps you have some sort of wound regarding your work and where you put others' work and responsibilities ahead of your own, or something along those lines. So that could be where this wound is. But this month, all these personal planets are sextiling this wound from your 4th house. So there's a lot of harmony going on between your home and your daily habits and routines, and perhaps how you're organizing and moving throughout your day at work and at home. And so as these planets make this sextile, they're going to just be bringing, feel good healing opportunities. So with Mercury, maybe new thought processes, maybe new communication, opening up lines of communication that maybe haven't been there before, and feeling like you can show up as who you are. So healing in that new way of showing up. Venus might be providing new opportunities for work, or just new ways of showing up in relation to others. The sun is like your ego and your confidence, and again, showing up fully in saying, this is how I need to move throughout my day to feel myself. So not giving up your lifestyle for the sake of others, like moving through the day how you need to move through, not how other people are moving through their day. So not catering always to other people. And then Mars is your, getting clearer and having more opportunities on your willpower and desire and motivation, and some healing there as well. Okay, so then as we talked a little bit about, these personal planets will be making a square over here to Uranus in Taurus. So squares are challenge points. Squares are typically require us to make a change or make a decision or something like that. Choose yes or no type thing. And so all month long, basically, as these planets move and make this square to Uranus and Taurus, we're going to be presented with choice points or decisions that we need to make, or some type of tension or friction point between our houses of home and family and relationships. So there could be some, tension in the home this month overall. But again, squares, I think a lot of times astrologers take the more negative aspect of astrology, and while that definitely is a possibility, right? Everything can manifest either as a lower vibration or a higher vibration. But what I like to do is focus more on the higher vibration, right? So when we're presented with challenges, we can either, spiral and turn it more negative than it needs to be, or we can kind of look at it as an opportunity for us to align better with whatever is being presented to us, and to make sure that we are aligned with it. So this could be, with Mercury and Uranus, these are both planets of the mind, the intellect, things like that. So there could be some like challenging conversation, or challenges to your way of thinking, or simply just sudden insights that maybe are uncomfortable and challenge previous thoughts, things like that. Venus, there could be opportunities or challenges in regards to something financial in the home or the relationship, or Venus also represents our relationships, so there could be something going on there that's showing up. Sun represents our ego and things like that. So when the sun makes this square to Uranus, that one could be felt potentially a little bit stronger than the other ones, because it is, our identity basically being squared. And but it also could be, just a sudden insight, or like, oh, I need to do this with my resources within my relationship, or I need to think about this differently, or or it could be something showing up. Mars is our passion, our willpower, our desire, the things we are willing to fight for and go to battle with. So this square could be, on its more negative aspect, could be felt as a fight with a partner or within the home or something like that. But on a more positive side, it could bring a lot of passion and desire, and could bring, it's Mars's forward action, right? So could bring like, oh, this is something that we've needed to act on within our relationship or within our home. Let's do it right now. It could be that type of energy. So then as these planets continue to move and make their way one by one into Pisces, the energy is going to slowly shift from being more fourth house home and family to focus on fifth house matters, which are your children, your romantic partner, your joy, your creativity, your childlike essence, and if you're an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, turning your passions into your income, basically. So that's where the energy will be shifting. And as all these planets come in here, they are going to be making a conjunction with the North Node. So the North Node here in Pisces overall collectively is kind of, the Pisces energy is universal love, compassion, kind of like that Christ-like consciousness. So a lot of this North Node is asking us to let go and let God. Like with Saturn and Neptune having been at the 29th degree, we've been letting go of a lot of disillusionment, where we've had the fog pulled over our eyes, things like that, where we've been unclear, we've been releasing that. But with the North Node here, I feel like the overall message is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because Pisces is this energy of lack of boundaries, just like Neptune is. So it can be where we can be deceived and see things with rose-colored glasses and things like that. And this North Node staying in Pisces is like, keep the best energy of this Pisces though, right? Like, which is having faith that things are going to work out, having faith in humanity and that we can love each other and can live from a place of love, and that we can, connect with our own spirituality or things like that. So this North Node, as all these planets come in here and are going to align and conjunct with this North Node, it's making sure that these seeds that we've planted over here, this transformation that we've had with these personal planets, that everything, all the work that we've been doing, that it is aligned with who we are spiritually now, as well as just aligned to our own highest and best good, and aligned, being in the fifth house, aligned with bringing us joy and keeping us in that childlike state of wonder and awe and amazement at the world, which is hard to maintain right now with how dark the world feels. But this is helping you this conjunction is helping you make sure that you are still aligning with that joy and coming at life with this childlike energy of, both not knowing and not needing to know, right? Like children don't know everything, but they trust that everything's going to be okay. So maintaining that kind of energy and not needing to know all the details and things like that. And then as they continue to move beyond that, these first three, because Mars is not going to make it into Pisces by the end of the month, so the stellium will be breaking up a little bit at the end of the month. But so they will continue through Pisces, making a trine over here to Jupiter in Cancer. And Jupiter is the ruler of the planets as they move through Pisces. So this is a really beautiful, supportive energy. And Jupiter, even retrograde, it likes to bring abundance and opportunities and wisdom and things like that. And retrograde, it could be that it's bringing back opportunities that have been missed before, or bringing back, with this trine with your fifth house, bringing back perhaps a remembrance of the things that you enjoyed doing as a child. And coming from your ninth house, this could be, ninth house represents travel, long distance travel, foreign people, foreign cultures. It represents higher learning, higher education, teaching, philosophy, your overall belief systems. So there's something really supportive and beneficial going on here between those and your fifth house. Perhaps there's some opportunities here in regards to entrepreneurship and teaching, or taking a higher course of study. Perhaps there's travel opportunities with your romantic partner, with your children, something along those lines. Okay, so then moving forward to, we are going to talk about February 13th and February, well, I guess it's technically February 14th Mountain Standard Time, but Saturn enters Aries on February 14th at midnight, basically. So this is, and then it's going to be making basically an immediate conjunction that will be exact on February 20th with Neptune. So overall, Saturn moving into Aries will lighten up a little bit your fifth house. If you feel, because Saturn can bring lessons and challenges, and can bring, wherever it's transiting, can bring a little bit harder work. So it can, in the fifth house, over the last 2.5 years, you may have felt some struggle with your children or romantic partner, or struggle in figuring out how to engage with your creativity or your entrepreneurship, or your own childlike essence, your own joy. And so with Saturn leaving the fifth house, you should feel a little bit more ease there. And I'll be doing a video about Saturn in each of the houses to talk about what it might mean going into your sixth house. Because like I said, it can bring some challenges and just harder work and things like that. So that'll be in another video. But for the purposes of this month, this is really significant, not only for lightening up the load of the fifth house, and you might feel that energetic shift already start this month, but also this Saturn-Neptune conjunction is the big astrological point of this month, this year, this decade, this century, and like I said at the beginning, could be setting up the trajectory for the rest of your life, as well as for collectively the next thousands of years. So it is a very important astrological point to talk about. And so the way that I'm seeing this collectively is, Neptune is, and on its highest vibration, Neptune is, Neptune lacks boundaries. It's dreams, it's visions, it is our ability to connect straight with source, with God, with spirit, with our higher selves, whatever language you feel comfortable with. It is that connection to the higher realms, the higher dimensions, the higher beings, and the connection to, the Christ-like consciousness as well, right? Because Neptune rules Pisces. So the connection to that universal love and compassion, and the understanding that we are all one, and things of that nature. And in Aries, it's kind of learning how to embody that. Aries is the I am, the individuation. So understanding that there's this oneness of all, but that we are an individual piece. So kind of like understanding that there's this big puzzle and we are one piece. And without us being that one piece, the puzzle is incomplete, right? So recognizing that we are all important, we all play a part. And but also, especially with Saturn, so Neptune is this lacking boundaries. It's being able to dream the most beautiful dream of what we want life to look like and feel like and be like. And then Saturn is what we can manifest realistically into this earthly experience and bringing it into form. So this conjunction in Aries, I think a lot of it is a spiritual evolution of continuing to tear down the structures of government and religious organizations and things like that are no longer serving us, and being able to embody and have the direct connection ourselves and be in our sovereignty and know that we are the rulers and creators of our own life, right? Like this is very, Neptune, Saturn is very much a manifestation energy, like dreaming it, bringing it into form, dreaming it, bringing it into form. Aries is fast moving. So I think our ability to manifest is going to be increasing. I haven't said this before. This is just coming to me right now. How I'm feeling this energy all of a sudden. So that's really exciting. But also, you know, with Aries being the I am energy, being able to embody it. So that's kind of the collective. And then where this Saturn-Neptune conjunction is falling within each individual's charts, I feel like that is where your soul is being called to be a leader in this revolution, in this changing the landscape, changing the trajectory of the human species. And so for you, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Risings, this is falling in your 6th house of daily habits, health, your daily routines, your work, how you serve others, and, you know, this can also be pets and animals and things like that. So, you know, there's a lot in this house, so this can manifest several different ways. And this can either be, you know, a change in career or how you show up in your career, especially with the 6th house having work associations. But it can also just be how you are engaging with your own life and inadvertently being a leader in that area, because maybe this is an area that you will have figured out and can lead by example, whether you realize that you are or not. And again, this energy can may not be felt very strongly if you don't have any planets or points in your natal chart interacting with it. It might just be an underlying shift that you're feeling and you're a part of. But if you have planets or points, you may feel this a little bit more strong. But so how this can manifest and how you might show up as a leader throughout the rest of your life could be really figuring out this 6th house. So, you know, one of the things that I think this world is changing, we have all sorts of economies collapsing, right? 6th house can represent healthcare. 6th house represents how we serve others. So, you know, this can be anything from the social systems. So, you know, right now, a lot of our social programs are based on taxes and government giving out these social programs. Well, maybe we start to go back to doing that as a community, and you lead that service of others and have ideas of how to do that. This is also 6th house with service of others can represent our healthcare. So maybe you've got new ideas or may lead the way in how healthcare is changing. Maybe this is health in general as well, right? Our daily routines. How do we take care of ourselves? Do we start the day with meditation, or do we start the day with doom scrolling? Like how do we start our day? How do we end our day? And what do we do in the in between, those daily habits and routines? So maybe coming up with, you know, new ways of existing in our day to day instead of just you know, wake up, work, bed, rinse, repeat, right? Like instead of a Groundhog Day, maybe you are a leader and kind of a thought leader in changing the way we go about doing that. Maybe, I don't know. There could be so many different things. And with Chiron here, again, maybe there's something to do with healing and bringing back alternative medicine instead of, you know, the big pharma and things like that. That could be a 6th house thing, like really grounding that in, bringing that wisdom and that knowledge back. So those are various ways that you might be a leader in this movement of changing the world, really, and dreaming the best world possible into reality. So this could be an area of where you might want to dream and do some vision boards and things like that and figure out how to ground in this energy. Then the next thing is fascinating, because right in between those two dates of February 14th with Saturn entering Aries and February 20th of Saturn Neptune being in its exact conjunction, right in between there, February 17th, we start eclipse season, and we have a new moon solar eclipse at the basically 29th degree Aquarius. So this is a new moon solar eclipse in your 4th house of home and family. And so when we have eclipses is when either the new moon or the full moon are within a 16-degree conjunction of either the north node or the south node. So new moons, as you know, always bring, they're not always bring, it depends on how it's interacting with your new chart, but it's an opportunity for new beginnings, new things showing up, new seeds of intention to plant, a time of goal setting. And with the conjunction with the North Node is also about bringing new things. If it was with the South Node, it's kind of got more this energy of letting things go, or things returning from the past, whereas North Node is brand new. It's things that we can't see coming. It is opportunities. It is new things, new trajectories of our life that kind of maybe blindside us. We didn't know it was going to come. So this is exciting that something new could be happening in your 4th house. This could be a new rental opportunity, a new opportunity to purchase a house. This could be just something new showing up within your house, whether that's people showing up, pets showing up, anything showing up, a new renovation, a remodel that you didn't expect to happen, or something like that, or just 4th house also represents ancestry, so maybe there's some information coming there, or it represents the mother. It can also represent just your emotional safety, your emotional well-being. So something new is and faded is going to be showing up here. So keep your eyes out for that. And it may not show up right away, right? Depending on how your personal planets are interacting with this. If you have planets or points in the later degrees of Aquarius or the other fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio, then you may be feeling this a little bit more strongly, and it may be, something you can't ignore. If this is not interacting with any of your personal planets or points, there'll still be maybe new things coming with this solar eclipse, but you may not feel it so strongly. It may be just something that is new, that's like, oh cool, that's new, like that's nice to have in my life. So it may not totally change the trajectory of your life like it might if it is really engaging with somebody's chart. So that is exciting and something to keep in mind. So then I'm not going to fast forward the chart, but the other two things we have going on this month are Mercury will be stationing retrograde on February 25th. So it'll bring, the normal Mercury retrograde things, potential miscommunication, travel, plans going awry, other plans going awry, hiccups in technology, things like that. But with this being in your 5th house too, those miscommunications and those types of problems may show up more for you in regards to your children or your romantic partner or your joys and passions, whatever you're working on creatively may have some hiccups there. But with Mercury retrograde, it's a great time to proactively use this energy instead of waiting for things to go wrong. Like if there's anything that you need to rework, like say you're working on a painting and you made a mistake or something like that, so you put that painting aside. Well, Mercury retrograde would be a perfect time to get that painting back out and rework it. You'll be successful at it. So, or revise, or renegotiate, or bring up old conversations that didn't have a resolution or something like that. It might, even though Mercury retrograde brings communication mishaps, it can also bring, if there's something with your children or romantic partners or something like that needs to be revisited, it's a good time to do that under a Mercury retrograde, actually. So that could be something to keep in mind as well. And then the only other thing is February 27th, Mercury is going to be making a conjunction with Venus. So Venus is our finances, our values, our relationships. So there could be, again, this could be a good time to revisit something within the relationship, revisit a budget, revisit, any contracts or anything that need to be revisited, right? Like, it's not a time to start something new. It's a time to revisit old things. So that could be good to revisit, especially because Mercury and Venus had a conjunction last month as well, but Mercury was direct. So this time, whatever seeds were planted between them, now it's time to revisit that and make sure that where it's going is where you want it to go. So that is your February 2026 astrology forecast. Let me know below how you're feeling about this, especially since we're, already at least a third of the way into the month. How are you feeling this? Are you nervous about anything? Are you excited about anything? How is all this energy manifesting for you so far? Let me know how things are going. I would love to hear from you, and any way that you can engage with this video, like, comment, subscribe, share, anything will help my tiny little channel grow. And like I said, these videos do take a long time to do, several hours each one, which is why I'm behind on them, because this is not my full-time job, but this is what I would love to make my full-time job, because I think in the future that we are going into, this type of knowledge and this type of inner reflection and inner growth is going to be integral into learning how to move forward. So I would love to be able to provide that service to whoever wants it and needs it. So anyway, until next time, I hope you have a great February, and I look forward to seeing you in my next videos.